and on, I realized that it really meant nobody checked up on me. Nobody asked if we were tired. Nobody gave us permission to fall apart. We had to carry everything, smile through everything because hey y'all, hey, welcome back to the Becoming Herrss channel. My name is Kayla Mary. Thank you for tuning in. I think I talked about narcissistic abuse and reactive abuse, but I want to talk about mental and emotional abuse. Most of the time when we talk about healing, we keep it pretty. We keep it surface level. We tell all the parts of the story we've rehearsed enough that it doesn't sting anymore. I feel like sometimes people who do talk about healing, they talk about the parts where they overcome. But sometimes a lot of us are still in the midst of those storms. And sometimes we want to hear people talk about in the midst of those storms. And baby, I'm in the midst of those storms. I feel like a lot of things I have overcame. I can't lie. I have overcame my depression. I have overcame a lot of things. Like when I struggle with my confidence and having low self-esteem, I've overcame it. But there's a lot of things that I am still learning. Like forgiveness is one of the biggest things. I have a hard time forgiving people who treated me weird or wrong or do weird things to me, because just like, you didn't have to do that. You could have just walked out my life. You could have left me alone. You could have just been on your merry way and I could have been on mine. But you decide to come into my life, do weird shit, and blame me in the process. And then months to years later, it's like, you was never one wrong. And that baffles me. But I feel like I'm in the midst of my storm in a lot of areas in my life, and especially when it comes to forgiveness, celebrating myself, resting, allowing myself to live in the moment. It's a lot of things that I'm still working through. Just to sum that up, some of our deepest pain we carry comes from wounds that we don't talk about. Mental and emotional abuse does live under the surface. It is like, it leaves marks, but it doesn't leave visible marks on your body, but it lingers in your spirit. And if you've ever wondered why certain patterns keep showing up in like romantic relationship, friendships, or even in the way you talk to yourself, baby, this video is for you. So get a chair, pull up, and let's talk about it. Because those wounds don't disappear. They do not disappear. They don't vanish when you turn 20. They don't vanish when you turn 30. They don't vanish. They sit with us. They stick with us. They echo. They live with us. They're like a trauma backpack, an invisible trauma backpack that you just don't take off. And I want to bring those silent wounds to light today. I feel like a lot of us grew up being compared. Some of us would come home and bring our proudest moments, our best work. And instead of being celebrated, a lot of people were told, like, look at what such and such did, or you could have done better, or you could have done more, or that's not good enough, or you'll come home with like a whole bunch of B's on your report card and just like, well, it's not an A, so do better, basically. And that does something to us. It's not just a moment, it's a seed that grows into a lifetime of chasing, a lifetime of competing. Even when nobody's keeping score, you walk into rooms already feeling behind, already feeling like you have to prove yourself, even when no one asks you to. Some of us were called the strong one. And at first, I feel like when I was younger, being strong was like a compliment. But as years went on and on and on, I realized that it really meant nobody checked up on me. Nobody asked if we were tired. Nobody gave us permission to fall apart. We had to carry everything, smile through everything, because the moment you show weakness, the moment you cry, or you're not this strong person, or you're not in that strong role, people will say, but you're strong, like you'll be fine, you got this, like you get through anything. That strength turned into a mask you cannot take off. You couldn't take off. Even when your life is crumbling, even when things are not going favorable for you, people have placed you in a box that you cannot get out of. Some of us had to grow up too fast. You weren't just somebody's child. You were somebody's second parent cooking, cleaning, raising siblings, learning responsibilities before you ever got to learn rest. And now, as an adult, it feels normal to neglect yourself. It feels normal to put yourself last. And sometimes you don't even notice because it's the only way you've ever known how to live. And for so many of us, love came with conditions, honestly. Maybe affection only showed up when you achieved something. Maybe I'm proud of you was definitely rare, or a hug was definitely rare, or maybe you never had any of that at all. So what's next? We chase validation like it's oxygen. We overgive, we overperform, we overextend ourselves, not because we want to, but because some parts of us is still trying to prove that we are worthy of being loved. And baby, that is abuse too. Not the loud kind of abuse, not the kind that people can visibly see like a black eye, but it does shape you in the same way. It carves itself into your self-worth, and if we don't name it, acknowledge it, it follows us everywhere in life. And then there's silence. We don't talk about how silence hurts. The silence of a parent who couldn't say I love you. The silence when you worked so hard but no one said I see you, I acknowledge you. The silence when you longed for comfort but you were met with a blank stare. Silence feels invisible. It feels lonely. And that invisibility becomes heavy. You learn to keep your thoughts to yourself. You learn to quiet your needs. You learn to smile through pain because silence taught you that your voice does not matter. And then the silence follow you into adulthood. You silence yourself in relationships because you don't want to start conflict. You silence yourself at work because you don't want to be seen as difficult. You silence yourself with friends because you don't want to become a burden. And people see you as put together, but inside you're carrying years of words you never got to say. That silence is abuse too. Not the kind you can explain easily to someone else, but an abuse that your body knows. Your spirit knows. And if you're honest, you know it too. And because of all that, we carry questions, quiet ones, heavy ones, the kind you ask yourself at 2 a.m. when you're in the room still and your mind won't stop going. Like it just keeps going. How do I grieve the love I never got? How do I grieve the love I never got? How do I stop replaying conversations in my head wishing I had defended myself? How do I learn to rest when my body only knows survival? How do I trust softness when life taught me that softness isn't safe? Then, after we ask ourselves those questions, we beat ourselves up for asking those questions like it makes you some type of weak person. But again, asking does not make you weak. I feel like asking is like opening the door to healing because now in your mind you know there is something that you need to work on. It's something that's not right. It's something that's not okay. So you have that thought in mind. And asking is like a key to a door that's going to open, and it's going to be a room full of answers and possibilities and things you can learn and unlearn. Asking makes you human. It makes you brave because healing doesn't start with the perfect answer. It isn't the glitter, gold, and sparkled answer. It starts with being honest about what hurts. And what hurts is naming it. So, if nothing else, here's what I want you to take from this. Silence definitely do deserve a voice. Everything you hold in matters, regardless of what it is, regardless of how long it's been, how many years it's been. It matters. Write them down. Whisper them to yourself. Share them with somebody. Safe. Safe. Do not hold on to them. Do not take them throughout life with you. Write them down. Sit with yourself. Hold space for yourself. And talk to yourself or talk to someone you trust. You don't have to perform to be loved. You are already enough as you are. Before the achievements, before the strength, before the mask, you were worthy the day you were born. The day you came out the coochie, you were worthy. Healing doesn't mean fixing everything overnight. Healing might just means being able to rest today, smelling today without guilt, saying no and actually meaning your no, and allowing yourself to take one small step, regardless of how small that step is, instead of carrying the world on your back. You don't have to have it all together. When you're on a healing journey, you definitely don't have to have it all together. Healing is basically come as you are, and you are accepted as you are. You don't have to fix every wound. You just have to start living like you're already worthy. Because definitely you are. And maybe today, the only thing you do is breathe and admit to yourself, yeah, maybe X, Y, and Z hurt me. And that is enough. Maybe today, the only thing you do is imagine what peace could feel like, even if you're not there yet. And that is definitely enough. And if you only remember one thing from this video, let it be this: you are already enough as you are. Healing doesn't just happen in therapy rooms or on like a breakthrough. Ayana fixed my life, and I love Ayana. Sometimes healing is in conversations like this one, where we name what's been hiding and let silence finally break. So, if you liked today's video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you tune into next week's video. And yeah, ciao.